Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben. Tell us all about the finer points of living in your traveling. Food, beer, history, nature quest, every corner of the world to the great Midwest. Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben.
Today's little walk and park adventure takes place at the Chattanooga Riverpark Blue Goose Hollow Trail. We are introduced by a weird art piece over there, but we're going to walk down that direction here to get a good look at the river, and we're going to talk about something very important, Star Wars. And before I actually start the walk and talk, just want to take a minute to enjoy the beauty of the river here. But we'll come back another time to really dig deep about this place, because it's fun to watch the barges come by and the boats. You can see better on top of the mountains as well. And just the neighborhoods here are very beautiful as well. Hello my friends, Mr. Nomad Ben here. So the recording of this particular vlog is May 25th, 2022. 45 years ago today, in May 25th, 1977, a beautiful film would come out to theaters. And this is going to be a particular film that wasn't really going to be deemed the best film, but it ended up being the most loved film throughout the history of cinema. And it's still rocking the views today on our Disney Plus accounts, and also in your VHSs or your DVDs, and all the versions of the movies that you have. That's either the old ones or the new ones. I am talking about Star Wars. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 45 years ago, the first episode of Star Wars came out, or which is really episode 4, A New Hope, starring Mark Hamill as the hero Luke Skywalker, Sir Alec Guinness as Ben or Obi-Wan Kenobi, the beautiful Carrie Fisher to play Princess Leia, and Han Solo played by Harrison Ford, the intergalactic wise guy and scoundrel. And you got 2 actors to play Darth Vader. You got David Prowse as the person of Darth Vader, and James Earl Jones, who does the voice of Mufasa in The Lion King, but he also does the voice for Darth Vader. So, we're going to talk about Star Wars here, and I think it's about time I share my point of view of Star Wars. And we all know that classic Western film with Clint Eastwood, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm going to talk about, in this particular walk and talk vlog here at the Riverpark in Chattanooga, we're going to talk about the loved, the hated, and the beautiful about Star Wars. I don't want to get too much into detail about it, but I could talk about Star Wars for a very long time. And just to kind of give about Star Wars and like why it's so important to me. So I was actually in the generation where it was a re-release of the original trilogy when it came out the theaters, when Lucas added some CGI in it and did some extra stuff for it. So my dad actually took me to see the re-release of the first episode of Star Wars, and I loved it. I was probably 5 or 6 when I saw my first episode of Star Wars, and I actually thought there was just one episode of Star Wars, and that was it. Then I came to my grandpa's house, and he actually had so many VHS tapes that when it was controversial then to record TV shows and movies on television and keep the tapes. So he actually had copies of the Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back. And I had no idea that there were other episodes of Star Wars. I thought there was just one episode. So I didn't really get my love for Star Wars close enough until late elementary school and early middle school, because I discovered there was 2 more films into the franchise in the late 70s and early 80s. So, which would make my love for Star Wars grow even more. And out of the original trilogy, and probably out of the 9, not including the spin-off films, out of all of them, I would say The Empire Strikes Back is far by one of my most favorite Star Wars movies of all time, alongside with Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, the original New Hope, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I absolutely love Star Wars. And to kind of get down to the nitty gritty, there's a division in the fan base of Star Wars. And everyone says it's just Star Wars and Disney Star Wars, but there's just so many other sectors of Star Wars. You got the original trilogy people that view that is just Star Wars. Then you got the original 6 with the new prequel trilogy, so people think the episodes 1 through 6 is, hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. New potential fans, probably. So, anyways, we're talking about the first 6 episodes of Star Wars from... Oh, thank you! And the movie came out 45 years ago. So... So, wow, that was actually pretty funny. So... Yeah, that kind of lost my train of thought there. Anyways, so we got the first 6 episodes of Star Wars of his new trilogy that came out in the 90s and early 2000s, and then the late ones in 70s and 80s. People think that is the true episodes of Star Wars, and then Cartoon Network made cartoons of it to take place during the Clone Wars, and then people think that's the Star Wars. Then here comes Darth Maul, and people don't want to recognize that. People just say, that's Star Wars to me, that's Star Wars to me. And then you got the books of the extended universes. They're now considered legends. And you got characters like Kyle Katarn. Then you got Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade's children. Then you got Han Solo and Princess Leia's. They had more kids besides Kylo Ren in the new trilogy. So I'm just saying, there's so much content in Star Wars. But we'll get to that point of what I just said in a minute. But just talk about my life about Star Wars is it's just, I love the franchise, and so many people enjoy it too. And it's been around for almost half a century, 45 years of a very loved and beautiful franchise. But why is it hated? Because, well, I'm sorry to say it, but Disney happened. But it's not just Disney. Lucas kind of did his changes to it of the original Star Wars with the re-releases and all that. But some people enjoy just the original that came out without the changes to it. But then he just added more things to it in the 90s that when it was released in theaters, and then you had the Blu-ray edition that came out in the 2010s, so there was even more stuff added to it. And then you got all that stuff there too that kind of divided the fan base a little bit as well. And then Cartoon Network added in extra stuff into the Clone Wars and adding back Darth Maul into the scene after we all saw Obi-Wan destroy the guy in the Phantom Menace. So you got all this stuff that just causes so much hatred in Star Wars as well. But then when Lucas sold it to Disney, and I think a lot of us, including myself, was very disappointed of what exactly happened. And I gotta tell you, I am not a fan of the prequels. I did the best I can to love them, and I gotta say, I do enjoy the Force Awakens. It's probably one of my favorite ones out of the new trilogy. But I can't stand The Last Jedi. I have tried my hardest to enjoy The Last Jedi. It has some good moments in it, I have to admit. But it was just fell short to me. I felt like they disrespected Luke Skywalker's character. And, and Rey was just too powerful where she was. And I thought they could do better for Ben Solo's character. So there's just so much stuff about The Last Jedi I just absolutely hated. So, and then I thought maybe The Rise of Skywalker could maybe give it justice. And if I could compare it to a golf game, in my opinion, it hit a bogey, not a par. And it just fell short of a par to me. There were some good moments in Rise of Skywalker too, but to me it just wasn't good enough. So that's why there's so much hatred, not just for it, I think. So, I'm not the only one that felt about this. I'm also talking to other Star Wars fans that just does not like what Disney did to Star Wars. And you had the whole nebulous of Legends content, of like Kyle Katarn, who's an ex-Stormtrooper, and actually became like the most powerful Jedi ever. We all know that was potentially Finn's character, but then Disney decided to take a different direction with Finn and all that, so let's just not really dig deep about that. But there was just so much botchery that could have made Star Wars better that Disney could have done, and it just didn't happen. And do I still love it even after all for what happened? Well, of course I do, and I'll tell you why. George Lucas has had a protege, Dave Filoni, who did the 3D animations of the Clone Wars. And it turns out, which even makes me a more fan of Dave Filoni, is that he did some episodes of the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, another favorite franchise of mine, the Nickelodeon TV series. But he loved Star Wars so much, and he honored Star Wars as much as he could through the Clone Wars, and then Star Wars Rebels, and they were fantastic. Anything that Dave Filoni did was great. And then here comes Jon Favreau, another person that respected George Lucas's vision of Star Wars. Him and Dave Filoni teamed up and created The Mandalorian, far by one of my favorite live-action stuff of the new Star Wars thing. So there's some beauty to some Star Wars up to this day. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around. I'm gonna get too close to the loudness over there. Anyway, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, I feel like they have done such a good job of Mandalorian and development of the characters that way. I'm not really the biggest fan of Book of Boba Fett. As much as I love Boba Fett, you guys see my car with the Fett jet. But I'm not really a fan of the new show. But if they're doing another season of it, I will watch it because Mando shows up. And it kind of saved the series, in my opinion. Anyways, so we talked about the loved, why it's so loved, and what don't talk about why. That's just what my point of view is. We'll talk about why it's so loved, because there's something about Star Wars that's bigger than ourselves, and we're taking on a bad guy and an empire that goes against everything and everyone's beliefs and how the galaxy is handled. And Luke Skywalker just kind of represents us. And we're taking on villains bigger than us, but we feel like we can overcome them and defeat them. So that's kind of what makes Star Wars so loved. And you got the central group of friends like Han Solo and Princess Leia. And then the rebellion just kind of hypes you up. It makes you want to fight the good fight. So that's why, in my opinion, why I think Star Wars is very loved. And just how we view life and how we take on challenges. And then the Darth Vader, the Emperor, or people behind it just represents that. But I already talked about the hated, the loved. Now let's talk about the beautiful. What makes Star Wars so beautiful? And I'll tell you why. It's what Obi-Wan said to Luke. A certain point of view. That's right. A certain point of view. Yes, we all know that you got the original trilogy, then you got the books, the video games, based on the original trilogy and the extended universe before Disney took over, and before George Lucas added more things to it, and added more to the prequels in the Clone Wars series. It's a certain point of view of how you view Star Wars. And I can't see any other franchise that can make Star Wars your own. And which you can view Star Wars however you want. If you think the original trilogy of New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, that's your Star Wars, that's going to be your Star Wars, and that's going to be special to you. Or include the prequels with the originals, with the Clone Wars cartoons in it, that is your Star Wars. If you enjoy the Disney franchise, that love those 9 movies and the spin-off movies, that's your Star Wars. Star Wars is what is personal to you and what makes it so special. And that is the beauty of this particular franchise. Star Wars is a certain point of view. And I cannot find a franchise like that. I know that I know things are getting changed in how Hollywood wants to do things. And we all know everything, but that's what makes Star Wars so special. And what some of these classic movies are so special too. And I just wanted to talk about that for the little walk and talk on the shores of the Tennessee River at this Riverpark to celebrate Star Wars. The Obi-Wan series is coming out. I'm super excited for that. I'm going to be very hesitant. My hopes are not too high, but I'm so excited to see Ian McGregor to come back as Obi-Wan. He's about 11 years younger when Sir Alec Guinness was Obi-Wan. I think Sir Alec Guinness was in his late 50s, early 60s when he was Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Ian McGregor, well, I bet you he was filming this in his late 40s. But you got him, right now he's 50, so you got him like roughly getting close to the age, little gust of wind there, getting really roughly close to the age being Sir Alec Guinness. So I just can't wait to see what kind of fights he takes on to protect the little Luke Skywalker. We all know that he fought the Black Chrysanthemum in the comic books and a couple other people, but who knows what we're going to see in the Obi-Wan story. So I'm looking forward to it. Well, friends, I just want to talk about Star Wars just for a few minutes. I know this isn't our usual walk and talk about updates with my channel or anything like that, but 45 years ago, Star Wars came out, and that's so awesome. And can't wait to see what other Star Warses there is. Again, I wasn't a fan of the new trilogy, but just because that trilogy to me wasn't so good, but generations from now, it's probably going to be loved again. Because the prequels were hated, but then 20 years later, they ended up being loved. So, for all I know, in 20 years, I might change my mind about the new Star Wars, but this new generation might love the new Star Wars, so who knows? Star Wars is loved. Star Wars is hated. Star Wars is a beautiful franchise. And that's all I wanted to say. Obi-Wan series is coming to Disney Plus Memorial Day weekend, starring Sir Ian McGregor. Well, he goes to Sir Ian McKellen. Anyway, it's going to be pretty good. I can't wait to see it. Other than that, my friends, hope you guys enjoyed this particular walk and talk vlog about Star Wars. And perhaps I changed some minds about it, or you guys may agree with me, you may disagree. We can have a discussion about it. We could talk about it down below. Let's not get political. Let's not go into hatred, but we can definitely have a good talk about Star Wars. Well, my friends, if you guys enjoyed this particular vlog, be sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell, and join the fun. Eat well, keep your bite walking, and may the Force be with you. I'll see you guys soon. We got a formation of Canadian geese on the river. But it looks like you got a whole river fleet of barges. We'll come here on a more beautiful day, actually dig deep about the history and all that about this particular river park. I'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe.